What's up guys, Mike Shannon here, back with Michigan Muscle. Today we've got kind of a cool project. As you can see, my car is up on a lift. Obviously, you know what that means. We've got some Go Fast parts we're going to be installing. I was looking around, there aren't many other videos out there like it. We're actually going to be installing some of Texas Speed's headers and off-road pipes today. So I'm going to give you a full in-depth look on what's exactly needed to do this and how long it takes. And I'm also going to provide some sound clips of the before and after differences. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so what's needed to install these headers? Well, it's a lot of removing of plastics such as this, these plastics down here, along with this lower skid plate, we'll call it. To do that, this bolt over here, on that side as well, and there's a couple more scattered throughout that I'm going to show you a little bit more in depth, but that's basically what needs to be done. Along with, once the headers are in themselves, we're going to be cutting our exhaust right here. As you can see, I already cut my secondary cat delete, or did a secondary cat delete. So that's where the off-road pipe will be going. It'll replace that. And then obviously the header is going to replace the primary catalytic converter as well, and has another spot for the O2 to plug in. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is remove this lower plastic shroud covering one of your auxiliary radiators. To do that, you're going to need a 10mm socket and an 8mm socket. So we're going to go ahead and get that done. Alright, so we just got the lower shroud off. Now we're going to pull off the other two side ones here and here. The only thing needed to get these off are, it looks like, 3 10mm bolts. So let's go ahead and get that done. Alright, so if you haven't noticed already, we've already got those two side guards off. And another thing, if you haven't noticed already, I changed my shirt because when you're working on a car, it's recommended not to wear nice clothes or it's going to get them dirty, which is what I did. So do that beforehand, not like what I just did. The next step that we're going to do is take off this crossmember right here. It's a, what's this? A 15mm socket. There's going to be 8 bolts you have to take off. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Pulling the plastic off was pretty easy. And another thing that I forgot to mention too is there were 2 Torx bolts on either side of these side plastics, along with a push pin clip that was pretty easy to get off. You didn't necessarily have to pull it off to remove the brace, but it just made the job a little bit easier. So we're going to pull the brace off now. Alright, so we just got this lower skid plate off. Something I wanted to make mention of too, this is a single post lift, which evidently ended up not working out as well as I thought it would. This skid plate, when you lower it down, it has to swing off this pivot point right here. And I was reading one of the forums, at least, I think it's 24 inches of clearance, something like that. And obviously on here it was hitting on these posts, we weren't able to get that. So what I ended up doing is I pulled the car off the lift, jacked it up really high with jack stands. I was able to swing it down and just barely clear it off the front. And then I pulled it back on the lift, and this is where we're at right now. So it's kind of a little bit of a hassle. If you have a scissor lift, it'd be a lot easier to do. But I'm just kind of working with the tools that I have, and this works out pretty well. So the next step is going to be going up top to lowering the car down and looking under the hood. We're going to have to remove some stuff in order to access the exhaust manifolds themselves, and then we should be good to pull the manifold. So let's go. All right, so now that we have the car lowered down, the next step is going to be to remove the coolant reservoir right here. The coolant reservoir is secured by 3 10mm bolts, located one at the top, and there's 2 at the bottom. You're going to need a longer extension for something like this. So we're going to pull that out right now. Alright, so now what I did is I'm trying to pull out the driver's side exhaust manifold through the top. We're going to see how well that works. To do that, I pulled off my valve cover, then I also pulled off the plug wires. These things suck to get off. The trick is to grab the rubber boot and just wiggle and pull as hard as you can, and they eventually pop off. So I'm loosening the bolts for the header right now. We're going to see if we can get it to slide off. Alright, so as you can see, it's a little bit darker out. This is taking a lot longer than I would have expected. But I got the driver's side exhaust manifold out. I ended up pulling off the heat shield. Like I said, I'm pulling off all the spark plugs, or all the spark plug boots. The spark plugs are still in. And then after unbolting the primary cat from the bottom, I was able to slide this out from the top. So now we're going to work on the other side and try to get another exhaust manifold out. Wish me luck. Alright, so we got both of the primary catalytic converters out. As you can see, we also pulled out the passenger side exhaust manifold, and we're actually able to start fitting the header up from the bottom. It does not fit from the top, so make sure that you fit it from the bottom. Obviously, it's a pretty tight squeeze, so take your time. And you're gonna hit on some hoses right here as well. You just kind of have to push past them. And I didn't have to pull my spark plugs out either. We got them in without any problem. The spark plugs didn't hit. So now we're going to cut this pipe back a little bit more and make some room for the header to fully fit in. Like I said, I had my secondary cats deleted, so that's why I have a pipe right here. They don't unbolt. But we're gonna cut that and then measure everything out for the off-road pipe, so we're gonna go from there. All right, so it's about midnight right now. Unfortunately, my camera person went to sleep, so I just got the passenger side header on right here. It's hard to see, but this bolt, I'm trying to get down to it. Yeah, this is for the dipstick. This bolt right here, that guy, sucks. It sucks to get to, it's hard to tighten, it's hard to loosen. I thought about loosening this bracket and taking it off. I didn't, I was able to get it without doing that, but you might want to consider that for your own well-being. It sucks. But this side's on, which is cool. So now we're gonna move over to the driver's side and see how to get that one. I think I'm gonna do that from the bottom as well, but I still have to cut off that primary cat down there as well because my secondary cat was deleted and it's just welded on. All right, guys, so this is the passenger side header completely installed without the off-road pipes on yet. As you can see, this is where I cut it. My O2 sensor's in. So far, we're ready to rock. Just to cut this side off and we'll be good to go. All right, so as you can see, I got the primary cat out from the driver's side, completely empty now. And one thing that I wanted to make note of, you've got your two O2 sensors right here. I disconnected both of them. However, you're gonna wanna add an extension that Texas Speed provides you with to the black connector you see there. I'm not sure what's gonna happen with the gray connector. That's for the secondary cat that no longer exists. It'll probably end up just getting a cover put over it or something, and it'll be tuned out essentially. But that black cable is gonna be for your primary cats, well, quote unquote primary cats, and that's gonna be plugging into your header. All right, so as you can see, I slid the driver's side header up through the bottom side. It's actually just balanced, it's hard to see, it's dark, but it's literally just balancing right now. So I'm gonna lower the car back down and we're gonna get that bolted down and hopefully button this thing up tonight. This is also the extension that Texas Speed provides. It's for a C7 Corvette, so it's really freaking long. So I'm gonna see if I can find a way to shorten it or just tie it around something. So we're gonna go from there. All right, so I still haven't done anything yet. This is just a view from the top. As you can see, the header's just sitting there, and I didn't have to remove any of the spark plugs either, but I did have to remove the steering shaft, which is only 2 bolts. It's pretty easy, and it just pops right out. So now we're gonna go ahead and bolt the header up, and don't forget to add your gasket as well, because that's kind of important. The driver's side header is completely in, and I also replaced the steering shaft. That's put back as well. Now we're gonna move back underneath the car and finish up the rest of the exhaust, along with tap some loose ends up top, such as the coolant reservoir and other cables we might have unplugged along the way. All right, it's currently 3:15 a.m. Me and my buddy Colin just finished up on the car. He came over late and helped me out. It sounds pretty mean.
It sounds great.
We started it up in stealth mode to kind of sneak it out of the garage so my family wouldn't hear, but I think they might have heard.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, we pulled down the street though, and when the valves are open, it sounds pretty mean. I mean, it smells like a NASCAR, without any cats or anything, but it sounds good. I can't wait to rip on it. The car still isn't really totally together right now. It's still missing the skid plate, some other stuff, but it sounds pretty mean. I'm gonna finish it up tomorrow morning. It was pretty cool. All right, guys, this is one other thing that I wanted to show you. I'm out in the driveway right now. I'm putting the skid plate back on, and this is how you do it. So I've got 2 jack stands jacked up pretty high, as you can see, and then you pretty much just crawl under there and align the skid plate up, and it works out no problems. So that's how you do it. All right, here's also some underneath shots because I forgot to get some last time. So basically, the skid plate will hook on right here, and then it literally will fold up, and you bolt it to the frame, and that's pretty much all there is to it. It's really easy. out awesome. The exhaust sounds fantastic, as you've already heard from some of the clips. Under throttle, this thing just sounds like a beast. It's menacing. It sounds awesome. All in all, the install probably took 12 hours. That definitely could have been reduced if I had a double post lift or a scissor lift. In the case that I had to pull the car off the lift just to pull off that lower skid plate, that definitely increased the time. And towards the end of my installations, I'm sure you saw, not having any help either kind of slowed down the installment time, which ended up not being too bad anyways. My buddy came and helped me out, helped me finish it up. So yeah, it's awesome. A couple of things to note though, like I've already mentioned before, without having any cats, the car really stinks. I mean, you get that smell of exhaust fumes and you can almost feel it in your eyes. Sometimes it's almost too loud. The cold starts are obnoxiously loud and it sounds almost raspy, but under throttle it sounds like an animal. And then the ticking too kind of bothers me that you get with headers. I'll see if I can capture some of that in here, but just with typical headers, you always get a type of ticking sound. It's nothing bad, but it can be a little annoying at times. So other than that, we're gonna see how it plays out. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and drop a comment below on what you think. Make sure to stay tuned for more videos.